Demolition is often seen as a fresh start, making way for new buildings and progress. However, it doesn't always go as planned. When structures don't fall as expected, the results can be both shocking and dangerous. In this video, we'll dive into 10 demolition disasters that highlight the unpredictability of the process. From buildings that refuse to collapse to explosive mishaps that create chaos, these stories serve as a reminder that even the best-laid plans can go awry. So, buckle up and get ready to witness the most memorable demolition that went horribly wrong. Number 10. The Danish Silo Incident. April 2018 marked a significant moment for a quaint town in Denmark as a monumental silo prepared for demolition. The structure, a towering presence in the skyline for decades, was slated for destruction to pave the way for urban redevelopment. The demolition crew meticulously calculated the placement of explosives to ensure a controlled and safe collapse. As the countdown commenced, excitement filled the air among onlookers who gathered to witness the spectacle. But the cheers quickly turned into gasps of disbelief. Instead of collapsing in a controlled manner, the silo tilted precariously in the opposite direction, unexpectedly endangering a nearby cultural center that housed a library and a music school. As debris rained down, firefighters rushed to the scene to assess the damage, working through the night to secure the structure. Miraculously, there were no injuries, but the close call raised alarms about the planning and execution of the demolition. Witnesses described the scene as chaotic, with dust clouds obscuring visibility. This incident serves as a stark reminder of the high stakes involved in demolition projects, where even a small miscalculation can lead to significant risks and dangers for both workers and the surrounding community. Number 9. The Flour Factory Mishap. In Canary, Turkey, an astonishing demolition mishap unfolded in 2009, centered around a historic flour factory that had long been a staple of the local economy. Built in 1928, this 82-foot-tall structure was deemed ready for demolition to make way for a new shopping center. As the demolition team set explosives, the atmosphere buzzed with anticipation for a controlled collapse. However, when the explosives detonated, the expectations turned to disbelief. Instead of collapsing neatly, one side of the factory collapsed at an alarming rate, causing the entire structure to roll over onto its roof, remaining mostly intact. Eyewitnesses watched in shock as this massive building tumbled toward nearby residential apartments, creating a scene of chaos and panic. Fortunately, no injuries were reported, but the potential for disaster was palpable. The incident drew significant media attention and highlighted the unpredictable nature of demolition work. Experts later reviewed the event, emphasizing that the age and structural integrity of older buildings can lead to unforeseen complications during the demolition process. This incident became a significant part of local lore, serving as a reminder of the complexities and risks involved in tearing down historical structures. Number 8. The Silverdome Blunder. December 2017 was a momentous occasion for Pontiac, Michigan, as the iconic Silverdome prepared for its long-awaited demolition. This 83,000-seat stadium had hosted countless significant events, from NFL games to WrestleMania, but after years of vacancy, it was time for the structure to make way for new development. The plan was straightforward: a series of controlled explosions to bring down the upper section of the stadium. As the countdown commenced, the crowd's anticipation reached a fever pitch. However, what followed was not the spectacular collapse everyone had envisioned. Instead, only a fraction of the explosives detonated as intended, leaving a significant portion of the upper structure stubbornly standing. The demolition company reported that a tenth of the charges failed to go off, resulting in an embarrassing and anticlimactic sight. With safety and structural concerns at the forefront, the demolition team returned the following day to finish the job. Months later, the site was cleared for new development, but the Silverdome's failed demolition became a symbol of what happens when plans go awry, reminding us of the unpredictable nature of large-scale demolitions. Number 7. The Dalhousie Generating Station Disaster. The Dalhousie Generating Station in New Brunswick, Canada, has long been a staple of local energy production since its opening in 1969. However, after its closure in 2012, plans were put in place for its demolition to clear the area for new development. In 2015, a crowd gathered to witness the highly anticipated demolition of this iconic structure. With explosives set and excitement in the air, the countdown began. When the charges detonated, the expected destruction unfolded with loud explosions and a billowing cloud of smoke. Yet, instead of the complete collapse that was intended, the building only partially fell, with the smokestack dropping a mere 16 feet, while remaining predominantly upright. The failure to demolish the entire structure led to an urgent reassessment of the situation, requiring a thorough investigation to determine what went wrong. Upon analysis, it was discovered that inadequate cutting of the supporting structures had led to the failure of the initial demolition attempt. Ultimately, another demolition was scheduled, emphasizing the necessity of precision and expertise in demolition projects. The incident served as a reminder of the complexities involved in bringing down aging industrial structures. Number 6. The Miami Condo Collapse. In 2018, a seemingly routine demolition job in Miami spiraled into chaos when workers began preparing a condominium for destruction. As the demolition team carefully placed explosives around the building, it quickly became apparent that the structure's integrity was far weaker than initial surveys had suggested. Without any warning, the entire building gave way, collapsing under its own weight. Witnesses stood in shock, reporting that they heard no explosions. The only sound was the deafening crash of concrete crumbling to the ground. Fortunately, the swift evacuation of residents ahead of the demolition meant that only one minor injury occurred among the workers on site. Investigations into the incident revealed that the crew had been following standard procedures, which included cutting through the support beams. However, this critical step inadvertently destabilized the structure, resulting in its premature collapse. This incident underscored the vital importance of thorough assessments and meticulous planning in demolition work. The chaotic scene served as a stark reminder that even the most experienced demolition teams can face unforeseen challenges when dealing with aging buildings. The Miami condo collapse became a cautionary tale in the industry, emphasizing the need for constant vigilance and precise execution in every aspect of demolition projects. Number 5. The Leaning Tower of Dallas. In 2020, Dallas, Texas, became the backdrop for a remarkable and unintentional spectacle known as the Leaning Tower of Dallas. City officials had secured plans for a massive $2.5 billion redevelopment project, which included residential properties, workplaces, and entertainment venues. To make way for this ambitious endeavor, an 11-story office building was slated for demolition. As crowds gathered in anticipation, explosives were strategically placed around the structure. Initially, the demolition appeared to unfold seamlessly, with smoke billowing from the windows and the building beginning to collapse. However, what no one had anticipated was the unexpected strength of the elevator shaft. Built with significantly sturdier materials than the surrounding structure, it refused to yield. Instead of collapsing like the rest of the building, the elevator shaft tilted dangerously, creating a temporary landmark that captured the attention of locals. In the days that followed, residents even petitioned to keep the leaning structure as a quirky tourist attraction. Ultimately, however, safety concerns prevailed, and the elevator shaft was brought down with a wrecking ball to facilitate the new construction. This incident serves as a compelling reminder of how demolition projects can take unexpected turns, turning an anticipated spectacle into an unforeseen challenge. Number 4. The St. Petersburg Sports Complex Collapse. In early 2020, demolition crews faced the formidable task of dismantling the St. Petersburg Sports and Concert Complex, a landmark venue that had entertained audiences for decades. As the team prepared for the operation, they conducted extensive surveys and assessments to ensure that every safety protocol was followed, aiming to execute a controlled demolition that would minimize risk. However, the situation took a tragic turn when, unexpectedly, a sudden and catastrophic collapse occurred while workers were still inside the building. Witnesses described the horrifying scene as chaos erupted. Debris flew in every direction, and the sound of destruction echoed through the area. Emergency services responded quickly, rushing to the site to provide assistance. Tragically, one worker lost their life, and several others sustained injuries, amplifying the grief felt by the local community. This incident sent shockwaves throughout the region and raised serious concerns regarding the safety protocols within the demolition industry. Investigations were launched to determine the cause of the collapse, focusing on the adequacy of safety measures in place. The event underscored the inherent dangers of demolition work and highlighted the urgent need for stringent regulations and meticulous planning. It served as a stark reminder of the critical importance of ensuring worker safety during such risky operations, prompting calls for reform to prevent future tragedies. Number 3. The toxic smokestack incident. In 2020, the residents of Little Village, a neighborhood in Chicago, found themselves at the center of a significant environmental scare when the Crawford coal-fired power plant's towering smokestack was scheduled for demolition. The plant, a long-standing fixture of the community, had been shut down years earlier following increasing pressure from locals concerned about the severe pollution it generated. After a prolonged battle for cleaner air, the day of the demolition finally arrived, and onlookers gathered, eager to witness the event. As the demolition team set off the explosives, excitement quickly turned into sheer panic when a massive cloud of dust and debris erupted from the smokestack. The air became thick with hazardous particles, causing immediate alarm among residents, especially amid the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, which heightened fears about air quality and potential health risks. Subsequent tests revealed that the dust contained harmful materials, including asbestos and a cocktail of chemicals that had accumulated over decades of operation. The cleanup effort began promptly, but the situation raised serious questions about the lack of adequate precautions to mitigate the dust cloud and protect the health of the community. The demolition company faced intense scrutiny for its failure to conduct thorough risk assessments and implement proper safety measures. This incident served as a sobering reminder of the critical importance of prioritizing community safety in demolition projects, especially in densely populated areas where the stakes are particularly high. Number 2. The Liverpool apartment towers. In 2016, the fate of two prominent residential towers in Liverpool, Churchill House and Montgomery House, was sealed as plans for their demolition commenced. Both 14-story structures had become eyesores in the urban landscape, suffering from years of neglect and an outdated design that failed to meet the modern needs of residents. Initially, the demolition team anticipated a swift and straightforward process, believing that explosives would efficiently bring the towers down. On the first attempt, explosives were strategically placed around the foundations and detonated. But to everyone's astonishment, neither building showed any signs of collapse. Frustration mounted as crews regrouped for a second attempt the following day, targeting Churchill House once again. This time, the structure fell as expected, signaling a moment of relief. However, Montgomery House remained defiantly upright, creating a complex predicament for the demolition team. After a third attempt, only a fraction of Montgomery House fell, leaving a significant portion still standing. Faced with the stubborn structure, the demolition crews had to think outside the box. They resorted to tying cables around Montgomery House to aid in the controlled demolition and used cranes to methodically dismantle it floor by floor. This drawn-out and intricate process not only delayed the project, but also underscored the unpredictable nature of demolishing older buildings. Ultimately, this incident served as a stark reminder that even the most planned demolitions can encounter unforeseen challenges, testing the expertise and patience of those involved. Number 1. The Zip Feed Mill Tower. The Zip Feed Mill Tower, a towering landmark in South Dakota, stood proudly between 1957 and 2005, attracting locals and visitors alike. However, as plans emerged to clear the land for new residential and office developments, the demolition of this iconic structure began. Standing at 202 feet tall, the building's massive weight posed a significant challenge for the demolition team, who failed to adequately consider its structural integrity during preparations. The crew cut through the reinforcing bars of the tower and placed explosives strategically around the base. When the charges were detonated, expectations were high for a dramatic collapse. Instead, the demolition only managed to destroy the base, leaving the rest of the structure standing awkwardly and leaning to one side. The crew quickly realized they had not used nearly enough explosives to compromise the vertical integrity of the tower. Faced with this unpredictable situation, the demolition team resorted to a slow and laborious process of taking the structure down layer by layer using a crane and wrecking ball. This incident illustrated the complexities of demolishing large structures and served as a reminder that doing things in the right way is vital, as cutting corners can have severe consequences. It also shows the importance of conducting thorough structural assessments and implementing appropriate techniques to ensure a safe and efficient process. So, what do you think about these top 10 demolition disasters? Is it crucial to demolish the old buildings to make way for new ones? Or should we find ways to repurpose and revitalize these structures instead? Well, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, if you find this video interesting, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this.